Question for all three of you, looking at the squads that Amorim has played against as United boss and how their fitness levels compare to what he's got. Are there any he wouldn't rather have? I reckon he'd swap all of them. The United side is polar opposite of what his system needs. Matt in Hove.
I think that's a great point. And we said this when Amorim was announced. I don't know what Eric Ten Hag had him doing. Were they pressing high? Were they low block? So I reckon the second he walked in, he would have looked at the data and the numbers and gone, oh my God, because his team was a high energy, high pressing team. So it's really difficult.
I can't work out whether Eric Ten Hag worked them so hard last year, because he did in the summer, not this summer that's gone, the one before. He worked them really hard and it sort of caused them a few problems, and they, I don't know if they blew out too early or whatever. And then this summer, because it gone the other way and they weren't ready, because they just don't look up to speed to me. I know that's an easy trope that people throw when managers change and stuff like that. No. But having watched them as closely as I have, I think physically they're not as good as everybody else.
That's inexcusable. In 2024,
it's not inexcusable. It's a different way of working, isn't it?
How can you not be fit?
Well, no, they are fit. Some teams get themselves ready for the second half of the season, right? So they peak for fitness towards the end of the season. It depends on how you do your pre-season.
But also the way, pre-season is massive, mate. It's
again, that's on Ineos then, isn't it? They did pre-season with one manager, one style of football. Not that we ever really knew what it was. They spent a load of money to get players suited to that manager, and then they fired him.
Yeah, and then got a completely different route as well.
So and also, they were offered, I know this for a fact, that ownership were offered Ruben Amorim in the summer when they were doing a beauty parade of potential managers. They spoke to De Zerbi, they spoke to McKenna, they spoke to Tuchel, and they said no because his style doesn't fit this squad. And then they hired him X amount of weeks later.
But they knew that then, so they know now that it's going to take time to change it.
Doesn't fill you with confidence they know what they're doing, does it?
Well, it does, because now that having known that information, they're obviously clearly planning for the long term rather than the short term. That should probably fill you with more confidence.
Nothing they've done's filled me with confidence so far.
I just think, just to go to the fitness point, you could be fit, and there's match fit, and there's defensively fit, and there's attacking fit. There's different ways of doing it. Different styles of football do that. I just think that when you've got a manager of this type, the problem he's going to have, mate, is literally trying to get people fit in the season. I've missed pre-season twice in my career through injury. That season may have done okay. Never once felt good. Never once. Pre-season's huge as a player.
They're weak-minded as well as being unfit. So all in all, it's not a brilliant mix. And they lack talent.
You're in a great mood today, by the way.
Yeah, we need to rattle through some issues because we don't want to spend our whole morning on Manchester United. So a couple of issues. Marcus Rashford omitted from the squad for the fourth consecutive game. I mean, they need a clean break here, don't they? They just need to just get this sorted out, let him go.
How do you do that, though? They're going to have to do a sort of Raheem Sterling type deal.
They're going to have to, yeah. But that's okay.
Where they send him on loan and they still pay the bulk of his wages.
You have to do it, don't you?
Yeah, I think he's handled it great. I think Marcus hasn't handled it great, personally.
He was brilliant in the press conference yesterday. Scott Minto went to the press conference last night and spoke to me this morning about it. He said the way he handles the questions that are really difficult is really impressive. Yeah. And if he's doing that in the press conference, he's likely to be able to handle the communication, the tough communication situations behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's not being drawn into it. I think before the game, the question was asked again, wasn't it? No, Marcus Rashford, is there any way back for him? And he literally just said it's the same as last week. And I just thought, fair play.
He also basically said that he's not shown any improvement in training to get himself back in the squad. I mean, what that tells you about Marcus Rashford I find that incredible.
Manchester United take on Newcastle on Monday night. It's live on talkSPORT. Looking forward to that. It's at Old Trafford. No Fernandes, he's suspended. No Ugarte, he's suspended. And no Rashford, probably unlikely to be in the squad. Another big question that I've sort of been banging on about for the last year or so, but I don't think necessarily gets enough attention, is Manchester United don't score any goals. Last season, they were the lowest scorers in the top 10. The season before, they finished third. Arsenal finished second. Manchester United scored 30 fewer goals than the Gunners. They also were the lowest scorers in the top 6 that year. This year, they have got the 5th worst attack in the division. Only Palace, Ipswich, Everton and Saints have scored fewer goals. West Ham have scored more goals than Manchester United. Leicester have scored more goals than Manchester United. Why?
Great question. I do think they miss a lot of big chances. again, you'll know it better than me. You've been at more games than me, but
they have this season.
Against Bournemouth, they missed a load of chances in the second half.
One that flies back to my head is West Ham under Ten Hag. Was it Dallo who puts it over the bar with an open goal? Missed a lot of big chances. Look, they got the striker Højlund, 21? Young kid, still trying to figure it out.
It's not fair on him, actually. The fact he's got to shoulder this burden of expectation to be the number 9 at a club like United.
Yes, Xerxes the same. Told you before, I don't think he's a number 9 by trade. Even when they got him from, was it Bologna they got him from?
Yeah.
He
didn't score a lot of goals there, really.
No, but he was more of a 10 and a left winger at the time, and he's gone in now and we'll stick you up front and that'll work. And I just think it's so hard to be a striker. Look, I'm talking about this, not saying I'm great by any stretch, but I had a decent stint at it. But to be in the Prem and score over 15 goals consecutively each season is difficult. It's very difficult. They only get a few that go into 20s and beyond, and we think that that's the norm.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
If you hit double figures, you are excellent. If you hit 20 in a Premier League season, that is elite.
Exactly. And I just think that they haven't got that. They haven't got the system of players that's creating that. And also I think, dare I say it, like you said, they're not that good. I think that's a little bit harsh, but I just don't think the mentality's there to go on and kill teams off anyway. I don't remember last time Man United shipped 5 or 6 past someone. Can you?
4 against Everton,
Barnsley?
Yeah.
7-0.
Barnsley. Yeah, there you go. So they just need to play Barnsley every week and life will be fine. But I don't even want to be negative because I genuinely believe, and I said it off air, I think they're in the best place they could be now.
And I also think he'll do well. I think if you give him the time and you give him the energy and what he needs, he will do well eventually.
Here's a question for you, Crookie. If you had an opportunity to sign three players now, this January, or get rid of 3 that are bad for the dressing room and the environment, which would you take?
I think you've got to get rid of players and clear out the bad eggs before you can start to reshape the squad. Because otherwise, if you go for someone like Milos Kerkez, for example, who I know they admire at United, he's a young player. There are going to be distractions. If he walks into a dressing room that isn't necessarily the right environment, he could regress, as we've seen from so many players.
Okay, I want to quickly do Thiago, who's a Sporting fan. He joins us on the line now, and Jordan too. So let's start with Thiago. Go on. What do you want to say?
Hi, mate. Great show. It's just a quick thing. I was listening to the segment when Troy was on about, they're doing set pieces during the warm-up on game day. I've seen this, and this is the norm for Ruben. He's done this for his whole entire career, away from Casapia. I think he actually admitted himself he saw Porto doing it once, and he took the idea, and he's done it ever since. He's a great manager. I was gutted that he left us because obviously we were top of the league. We were doing quite well in the Champions League, and since he's left, we've gone bits up.
You just sacked the replacement, yeah. 8 games in.
But he will come good. What he does need a mini pre-season, and he won't find that at United. So I do imagine come summertime, when the season's done and dusted, he will become good. The squad will need improving. I think there's 2 or 3 players that he will drop, definitely. I think Onana will definitely be dropped. I think Bruno won't find space in his system. I think he's too erratic for the way Ruben plays. He's just not reliable enough. But he will become good, and you just got to give him time.
Yeah, can I
give him time? He will become good. He did it at Sporting. I think when he took over Sporting, I think he took over in January, just after Bruno left, funnily enough. And it took him 6 months to actually get the system in place.
Yeah, just quickly, I don't think any of us are debating whether he's going to be good. I think we all believe he's going to be good. I just want to know, because obviously you watch Portuguese football more than me. Would you say that set pieces are a huge part of that game, like they are in England?
Yes, it is. He actually brought the idea that you needed a set piece coach. He was one of the first managers, if not the first, to actually.
No, I'm not saying him. I'm talking as the league in a whole. Would you say that set pieces it's a strong suit of that league, so that everyone scores 4 or 5 corners a weekend?
massively.
Okay.
But the difference in Portugal, if you compare to the difference in England, this is something that thank you very much, Tiago, that he's got to get used to, is that in Portugal, if you do what Lucas Bergvall did to Altay, that's probably going to be a foul. Yeah. Whereas it's never going to be a foul in the Premier League. Yeah. If you do what they did to Onana last night, where they screened him from both sides, that would be a foul in Portugal. It's probably not ever going to be a foul in the Premier League.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.